Todd, what do you mean you want someone to ghost you? Oh. Okay, I understand now. Tried to do that in a Ford Bronco Sport the other day. Felt so dumb. This is something you can easily get used to. You join me inside the 2021 Rolls-Royce Ghost. And the Ghost nameplate has not been around for all that long. The first generation was introduced in the year 2009, and this is now the second generation for 2021. But the name is derived from the Silver Ghost, a car that was introduced in the year 1906. 1906. Just think about that for a second. That's the same year that radio broadcasting was introduced. Rolls-Royce was making a car, the Silver Ghost. You can kind of see how the Rolls-Royce name is one of the most iconic in the world. They were making cars in 1906. This new Ghost is all about post-opulence, a name coined by Rolls-Royce, and I'll explain a bit more about that and what it means in the exterior walk-around. But for now, just know that that basically means moving beyond the glitz and focusing more on the calm end of luxury. The Rolls-Royce Ghost competes most directly, in a weird sort of way, with the Bentley Flying Spur and the Mercedes Maybach S650. Two vehicles that cost significantly less than this one does, but they have similar power and they make similar promises. What we have to find out is whether the Rolls-Royce Ghost delivers on those promises, does so in a way that the other two cars never could. That's today on MilesPerHr. And there it is, the 2021 Rolls-Royce Ghost. This one is painted in English white. Couldn't just be a regular white, had to be English white. And it has some turquoise accents. What is turquoise? Well, it's turquoise. It's turquoise that Rolls-Royce calls turquoise. So this pinstripe along the side they call coach line accent. That is in turquoise or turquoise. And so are the center hubs. That pinstriped accent there. Also turquoise. So those are your two exterior cues, along with lots of chrome. Not quite as much chrome as previous generation Ghost, because the new Ghost is all about post-opulence, their coined term. In layman's speak, less is more. So they didn't over-design the new Ghost. It's not supposed to be quite as much in your face. It's supposed to be more subtle and refined. And it might surprise you that every body panel on the new Ghost is different. The only two things that are carried over from the old Ghost are, what do we expect? The Spirit of Ecstasy hood ornament and the emblems. That's it. Everything else is all new, all different. And I will say, before we dive into the specifics of this design, I will say it is a bit more subtle. Still instantly recognizable as a Rolls-Royce. Still, what do I say? Still dramatic in a, wow, you've got a lot of money fashion, but it is a bit more refined. So we'll start up here with the Pantheon grille. This is still just a big Rolls-Royce signature trait, but now it's more flush with the front of the vehicle. So it's not like this tacked on piece. Everything is just supposed to be more well integrated. And they do a good job with this. Fun facts about the Pantheon grille. So at night, we'll be able to see there are individual LEDs for each of the grille slats. And Rolls-Royce sandblasted the backs of the slats to make sure that those LEDs distribute light uniformly. I will say, it's a pretty dramatic thing to see at night. Then we go over to the LED headlights, which are, once again, redesigned. They're a bit more recessed. They look, meaner to me, in a stylish way. And then down here we have these new chrome accents there and down here that otherwise on the old Ghost, these were just kind of open gaps there. And now this is a uniform piece for the front air dam. it's good. It's very good. I like the front end. I think I like it better in some other colors. English white, posh, of course, and I saw it in silver, but I think, I don't know, what other color would I, maybe even that silver. I liked it in silver. Silver with the black wheels looks very good. So that is the front end of the new Ghost. Coming to the side, you can get as small as 19-inch wheels. Those are the standard wheel sizes for the Ghost, and I think that would be way too small for the body of this vehicle. It is longer and wider than the Ghost it replaces. 19-inch wheels would just look diminutive. It would not work out. But this one has 21-inch wheels, which I think look just right. It's a huge sedan. You need 21-inch wheels. And these are a black finish, black chrome finish, that I quite like with the white body. And then over here, we've got a Rolls-Royce emblem. Chrome for the window surrounds. Not quite as much chrome again as previous generations. And our suicide or rear hinged rear doors. So both handles are centered in that one spot. This is one thing we can see very clearly. The manual key slot, that if I had the key, it's inside. You could pull out the manual key as a backup if the power unlock failed. And you could put that in there, but it just sticks out a little much. I wish that was not there. I think it would refine the side even more. What a stately sedan. You can get it even longer. There's one with an extended wheelbase that adds a few inches, but still not as big or imposing as the Phantom. That still has to be top dog. Then we get to the back. And the rear end, one fun fact, this is a single piece of aluminum from the A-pillar all the way down, sorry I didn't point, A-pillar all the way back here to the trunk. All of that, single piece of aluminum. It's actually hand welded in various spots to make sure that it's just right. And it's these levels of detail that make the Ghost just stand out from every other sedan. Make a Rolls-Royce stand out. And we get to the back, and it's just more smooth is the rear end. We still have this bit of chrome right here, and the Rolls-Royce emblem. And we still have these signature LED taillights, but they've tilted it just slightly to modernize it. That's what they say. We're modernizing it by taking the same angle and taking the same shape and just adding a bit of angle. But they're beautiful. Beautiful with chrome surrounds. Then we get down low, and this is one of the options on this vehicle, as are the 21-inch black wheels and the turquoise stripe. You can have the exhaust pipes in chrome and stand out a bit more, or you can have them more integrated and not in chrome. So this one has that option. The list of options for this vehicle is out of control. There's a printout that they included and they laminated because Rolls-Royce, and I will be referencing it this video because they're just too many for me to retain in my brain. So that's the exterior of the Rolls-Royce Ghost. Looks better than ever, if you ask me. And I would just choose perhaps a silver, which I hardly ever do with cars. Let's go inside. And on our way in, we'll note that we have keyless entry, so you can leave the key in your pocket and just pull on the door handle to unlock and press this button to lock. And of course we have that for the front doors and for the, oh wait, the rear doors are here, that's right. So they're 5 inches apart, but the conveniences must be there. So when you press that lock button and you're walking away, you can choose the front or the rear door handle. Either one will do. And shocking how easy it is to open up that door, because I know it weighs a freaking ton, but it just glides so gracefully, so easily open. And looking at this interior, I am wowed. I will get through as many of the options off the top of my head as I can, and then I'm going to need to consult my cheat sheet. For now, I do know this is the eggshell interior with a secondary, that's the primary color. The secondary color is Arctic white. And we have the optional turquoise. There it is again. The turquoise for the piping, for the contrast stitching, for the monogrammed Rolls-Royce emblems in the seat pack. Ooh. What drama, what luxuries, having white exterior and white interior, but not just one white, having two colors of white, and that turquoise. The trim is Obsidian Open Pore Ayous. Ayous. Are you sure that's how it's pronounced? No, I'm not. And I am sure that's a terrible pun. But this wood is so nice. I love open pore woods in Rolls-Royce vehicles, being able to feel the grain. Whether you like this striped effect or not, I don't know. Jury's out for me. What do you think? Do you like that? Would you have chosen a more kind of standard beechwood or something like that? That's my favorite from Rolls-Royce, their beechwood open pore trim. The best. But this kind of works with all the black accents and the metals and the white. Kind of works. The deal with Rolls-Royce's interiors is this. They want anything that looks like it should be a certain material to actually be that material. So you're looking at this, you're like, tread plate, which is an option, by the way, having it in Ghost. This looks like that should be metal. Well, it is. It is genuine aluminum. And this piece right here, your feet kick when you're getting in, that looks like it should be leather. Well, it's real leather. And that looks like it should be wood. Well, it's real wood. All the things that you're seeing and touching that looks like they should be something, Rolls-Royce wants that to be the truth. So there's no letdown for the wealthy. Your expectations are met all across. Other things on this Ghost right here. We have the Rolls-Royce bespoke audio system with these gorgeous metal grates that are so sharp if you run your finger on them. You're just supposed to look, not touch. But it's an 18 speaker, 1300 watt sound system that's very good. Very, very good. I don't know how much that option is, because Rolls-Royce, when they give you a spec sheet, don't list the prices next to each option, because that would be plebeian, pedestrian. You don't need to know how much the options cost. You just have to pick and choose which option you want, so that this vehicle, as tested, is over $400,000 when it starts at $322,000. The doors. The doors are gorgeous. There's leather everywhere throughout this vehicle. In places that there really just shouldn't be leather, that you're never going to touch, there's leather. So leather all over the door panels, all on this lower piece here, which is so rarely leather, unless you're getting into luxury vehicles, with our turquoise piping and stitching. And there's leather inside the door pockets, because your hand might accidentally brush up against this inner pocket while placing a water bottle or your padded wallet in there. So yeah, that's going to have leather in it. You've got 2-position memory seats and then massaging front seats, in addition to heating and ventilation. That is another one of the options, getting heating and ventilation. Heating, I think, is standard. Ventilation and massaging are options. We'd have some ambient lighting in here for the, just a solid feeling metal, real metal handle. That's just a lovely feel right there. There's metal for this piece. This is sort of like a grab portion of the door. But of course, in your Rolls-Royce, you're not having to grab and close the door, because if you're outside it, just press gently here and it'll close itself with a soft close, of course. And if you are inside it, then, well, you're just going to pull this tab right here, and the door will close for you. Ooh, so very nice. So very, very nice. And looking at other gorgeous material quality things, this is real metal, the air vents. And speaking of the air vents, they added additional sound deadening and damping in the vents so that they wouldn't make quite too much noise. There has to be some noise in the cabin so that people know that they're driving, but they don't want that noise to come from the air vents. And I'll say they did a pretty good job of that. I still can hear them when they're on the higher settings. And of course, you don't just have low and high, you have soft, medium and high, and maximum settings. And you also don't have temperature control here. You're just supposed to know that that's the right amount of red and blue. That's the right amount of hot and cold there for my air vents. But the feeling that you get when you're working through these is just the feedback. Each click is so nice. So nice. Heating and ventilation functions are there. Well, let's fire up this burly girl, shall we? It's going to beep at me just a couple times, but not beep. It's going to chime gently at me a couple times because my seatbelt is not on. These gauges here are interesting because first of all, they're behind this glass panel here. And the borders are all genuine. That's going to be aluminum around the borders. And there are lights for each of the markers for your power reserve. I'll get into that in a second. But the center parts of the gauges are all digital. So those aren't real needles. They're digital needles. But they look so real that it just does a great job. And I like the hybridization here. Because when the car is fully off, you still have the chrome surrounds. But when it's on, you're getting that full impact. So yes, we have our speedometer, our fuel gauge, our oil temperature, the necessities. But then over here, instead of having a tachometer, because of course it's an automatic transmission, you would never shift this manually. There isn't even a manual mode in this vehicle. There's only a low range, which is Rolls-Royce's version of sport mode, but they couldn't put a sport mode on the Ghost or any other Rolls-Royce model. It has to be low. Low for more power. But getting back to this, there's no tachometer because there's no need for you to know when you're supposed to shift. So you have a power reserve meter, and it starts at 100% and it goes down to 0. It reminds me, this is a terrible metaphor for Rolls-Royce, but like a video game character who's fighting. The more he fights, the less power he has. The more power you use when you put your foot on that throttle, the less power you have in the tank. But this all dates back to like when Rolls-Royce didn't actually tell you how much power the vehicle made. It just was quote-unquote adequate. Well, 100% is adequate, 60% will be adequate, even 20% would be adequate for you. So that's your power reserve. Not too much to change up on the gauges. You've got that little info screen down there that if you press BC on the stock, will show you your trip information, your range, fuel economy, and average speed, and blank. So that's that on the right-hand dial. You can have needles, or temporarily, you can show some media settings and use your scroll wheel here to scroll through all that. I don't know why I'm rolling all my R's. It just feels right in this vehicle. But when you're done, it'll go back to the needles. So that's just a temporary change. The steering wheel, look at this big piece of jewelry. Gorgeous. Love the feel of this leather. So nice. Leather, of course, on the airbag cover. Rolls-Royce monogram there in piano black. Lots of other piano black here. Got piano black for these borders here, which I think actually, if they'd brought over that wood trim here, that might have been really nice. I mean, it's a Rolls-Royce, so anything you want, if you have enough money, you can customize anything in your Rolls-Royce. So you could just make these pieces in the wood trim if you want, but it's not like a standard thing. The rest of this, piano black with, which makes sense, so they could write things on it, like your settings for your adaptive cruise control. Adaptive cruise control is standard on this vehicle, as is pedestrian detection and lane departure warning. And the lane departure warning is triggered or demonstrated through vibrations through the wheel. No like sound, because the sound would be disruptive to your comfortable cabin experience. So we just vibrate through the wheel to let you know. So those are your adaptive cruise control settings. No lane keep assist or steering assist as standard on the Rolls-Royce Ghost. You can add those on. It's not here. Right-hand side, volume settings. That scroll wheel I already mentioned. Your Bluetooth answering and your voice commands. Let's hear what she sounds like. Hello?
Could you repeat that, please?
Oh, so polite. I won't repeat that. That's all I needed from you. Thank you. Fit and finish, material quality, exceptional so far. Only two things I would change. One, I already mentioned it. I think maybe if that wasn't piano black, if that was the wood trim, that would be great. The other thing would be the stalks. they're in plastic. And I mean, the plastic isn't bad, but you're touching these all the time. This is your turn signal thing right here. So hopefully you're using it pretty often, whether you're a chauffeur or you're driving yourself. Hopefully you're using that. The power steering wheel adjustments, that's a plastic selector. Feels pretty heavy duty, but still would like that to be metal or some other finish. And your gear selector, also plastic finish in the end. You're getting into some higher quality plastic, and then that feels like metal at the base, but this should all be that metal finish. Of course, you have your drive, reverse, neutral, park is this button here, and low. Low is to Rolls-Royce sport mode, but you would never see a sport mode. That sounds so barbaric on the Rolls-Royce Ghost. So we have low. Low is sport. That's how you get your fastest acceleration or mid-range power. That's the whole steering wheel setup. Beautiful, would like wood trim. Okay. Up here on the dashboard, we have hand-stitched accents. They continue with all this being leather. Feels so good. Turquoise looks nice on the seashell. And then a 10-inch infotainment. This is running BMW's iDrive system, of course. BMW Group owns Rolls-Royce. And we have a Rolls-Royce skin on the iDrive system. So if we zoom in here, we'll see a font befitting a Rolls-Royce. We can see a Ghost, not just any Rolls-Royce, a Ghost as the My Vehicle. Navigation, media, all of this. And so I'm doing this right now through the scroll wheel, but you can touch the screen if you so choose. And it's fairly responsive. I'm not using it properly. I'm trying to swipe when you need to touch first. You can pinch and zoom when you get into things like the map. Pinch, zoom. Then you can kind of swipe over there. So you can do those functions, just not here. Here you're going to have to touch what you want. Right? Or am I crazy? Nope. Yeah, you do have to touch. I was just wrong. Okay. Go into My Vehicle. What are the other things we can change up here? We could, vehicle settings. Yeah. How bright do you want your inner lighting system? Which it gets crazy bright in this cabin when you hop inside at night. But I can also raise or lower the Spirit of Ecstasy from right here. So it's raised right now, clearly. Let's lower it. Down it goes. And raise it. Up it comes. Hello, Spirit. And of course, if someone's going to try to take the Spirit, I'm going to show you what happens, because it won't work out well for them at all. That's one of the things you can change in the vehicle, and the rest of it's just super easy to use, user-friendly stuff. BMW iDrive, good system, responsive, Rolls-Royce skin. Okay? Down here, we have, I already showed you the air vents in real metal, and then this is how you open or close the air vents. This is just so satisfying to push or pull this plunger. Plunger seems like an inappropriate word for Rolls-Royce, right? What would we call this? What would you call it? I'm going to stick with plunger, because plunger is the only thing that could come to my mind. Your hazards are this beautiful metal, and that's the sound of the hazards. You're going to hear a lot of BMW-esque noises in this, including when you lock or unlock the vehicle, because BMW Group. Then your door unlocks are here. This is your volume controller, and of course, it's bordered in leather. Okay? So that's that. Down here, we've got your presets for radio. And down below that are your air vent controls, or your climate controls. I didn't get to show you what the seat heating and ventilation look like, because I was turning on the vehicle. And now it's here. Heated steering wheel, of course. And then down here, if you push back the wood trim panels, we find our cup holders. No heating or cooling for the cup holders, at least not standard. I did not see that on the options list, so it's not here on this one. Maybe you can configure it. If you couldn't, you can with money. Here is your camera button. And if we go into reverse, we can see the surround view monitor. If we want to look at different views of the vehicle, I can look at the right side, left side with a 3D projection. That's fun. Front view. And now I can go to just any angle of the vehicle I want. Any one. That is the surround view system. Back in park we go. Down here, other adjustments. We have air suspension, our parking sensors, and then our Rolls-Royce, our Spirit of Ecstasy controller with the leather border and the hotkeys. That's nice. our door opening and closing for the driver door and passenger door. Push this back. I said stay. And you've got a narrow slot in here, maybe stick a smartphone or something in there. Center console, lift that up, and we see over here is your wireless smartphone charging clamp. So you just stick your smartphone in there. We've got a USB-C there, a DC socket. Look at this, it's illuminated. An illuminated, come on. Okay, we're done. Illuminated DC socket. It's really just a transparent piece of plastic, but I wish that was glass. It didn't look like glass, so I guess I can't hold Rolls-Royce accountable, but I wish it was glass, okay? The rest over here, we have a bespoke Rolls-Royce analog clock. This is one of the other options on this vehicle. Got Rolls-Royce Goodwood down there, and then you can't see it right now, not very well, but this is the illuminated fascia. This is a new detail for the Ghost. It uses 152 LEDs behind a 2mm thick light guide to match up all the lights, and 90,000 laser etch dots. 90,000 laser etch dots. That's to create a vision of the galaxy, the Rolls-Royce galaxy at least, through that illuminated fascia. And it is just, it's beautiful. You're looking at footage right now, or you already saw it, and it's really cool. Down here, all leather, of course, and a real metal handle for your glove box. Not a bad sized glove box. It's okay. Kind of expected smaller. And looking up here, we have no digital rearview mirror. I don't think it's necessary on this vehicle, but a frameless rearview mirror, and then perforated leather for the headliner. Perforated leather, and we're already seeing some of the LEDs that are part of the Starlight headliner. And the best look of that is going to be my B-roll from at night, because it's just stunning. You can adjust the brightness of the stars, and there are shooting stars that happen. It's just so cool. So cool. The Starlight headliner, it's dazzling. And then this is a metal housing for your interior lighting. Again, like the brightness in this cabin at night is crazy. I've never seen a cabin as bright as this one. We've got our lights here. You can turn on and off. And then you can turn on or off the Starlight headliner there. And looking over at the sun visors. Well, first of all, it's a Bluetooth speaker, right? But because you could see it, it had to be in metal, right? And the grab handle, of course, is leather with metal pieces. But the sun visor, all leather. You know what's crazy? This is leather. This piece that covers the vanity mirror is in leather. I've never seen, they put it everywhere. I don't even know how they did that. How tightly they had to press that around that piece, but that's insanity. Comes over, but it doesn't slide. That's typical BMW right there. Kind of expected better of you, Rolls-Royce. Okay, but now it's time to open up the door. So we're just going to press it once. Oh no, that's just the back door. So you do that. Driver door, you actually have to press open. My mistake. I almost gave something away. Okay. But, of course, when we're outside it, we just press that button there. Have to press and hold it for a sec. Then it closes. And now we pop in through the rear hinged, in slang, suicide doors. And we pull those open just as easily as the front doors. Now we're looking at the back. Just like the front, we've got the leather and the obsidian open pore Ayus wood trim. The bespoke speaker covers with the Rolls-Royce monogram there. Just insanely high quality door handles. More leather, piano black, one touch up and down windows, and thick double glazing for those windows. I'm just going to pull it up slightly for a sec so we can look at that. Look at the thickness there. That's how that and 220 pounds of sound deadening is how they make these cabins so quiet. I think I screwed up, which is why I had to pull it all the way up on my own. This is my fault. This is not you, Rolls-Royce. You're doing everything right. Oh, I forgot to show one other thing on the driver's side. Lamb's wool carpet? Don't mind if I do. Oh, sumptuous. Makes you want to drive the vehicle barefoot, but I won't do that because, we're just in a health crisis, a pandemic, if you will. in here, or on here, we've got leather padded pillows. This is where your feet rest, okay? As a driver, more evidence that this isn't just about the passenger, the Ghost, it's also about the driver. This is just insanity. The pillows, amazing. Just good, okay? Close the door. Oh wait, before I do, this is yet another option, the Rolls-Royce Goodwood plaque with a stretched out line, like someone just like taffied that line, just pulled ya with the VIN plate or whatever. Is that the VIN? No, it's not the VIN. Something about the production number is there, I'm sure. But just look when the both doors are open. Isn't that cool? It's so impressive. So impressive. I'm going to actually want to be showing that other side because that seat can go forward with controls. But just for a second, we're going to go back to the door. Okay. We've got a USB-C port in here. More leather on the inner part of this door pocket. Memory position rear seats. Have you ever seen that before? How about massaging rear seats? This has got it. Heated, ventilated, and massaging rear seats and memory positions for the rear seats. If you're going to be driven every day, you're going to want your seat to be always in the same position. Help that chauffeur out, okay? All right, but now let's go to the other side because I want to show the rest of it over here. So, one touch, you close. Oh, while I am here, how can I miss your Rolls-Royce umbrella? Press hard. There we go. With the Rolls-Royce monogram. Pull that out. Gorgeous piece. Could never let your client get wet on a rainy day, which doesn't happen here all that often in Southern California. But here is your Rolls-Royce umbrella. That or to back off, to bat away anyone who's trying to steal your vehicle. Just pull this out and just poke someone's eye, would you? And it even labels it umbrella in case you weren't sure what the heck this was. Don't know who wouldn't be sure, but we know now, okay? So, press that gently. And it closes. With that soft close goodness. Coming over to this side. And we're going to gently open this up. Were you curious what the fuel door looks like? Kind of was. Oh, it's so fancy. Is that real? Okay, the bordering piece feels like plastic, but that feels like an aluminum cover for your fuel door. That's better than capless fueling. This is the only time I would prefer a cover to capless fueling is when you've got that kind of goodness on there. Huh. The more you know. Okay, back to those seats. And to more great options like pillow headrests. Yes, pillow headrests with turquoise piping on the outside, turquoise embroidery of the Rolls-Royce monogram. I just can't help myself. It's so good. Perforation for the seats in the duotone Arctic and eggshell white with the turquoise right there and the turquoise for the stitching. This one is equipped with the occasional third seat, meaning that it's not a fixed center console with just two seats back here. You can lift up this center console and now you've got a third seat. It's a family sedan, right? Another evidence of that is the fact that we have latch anchors. Yes, latch anchors, but they're hidden. And you have these gorgeous little zippers that you can zip up and reveal the latch points in there. Family sedan, Rolls-Royce Ghost. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Okay? But now, getting into the back, actually, I want to try out that middle seat because I'm just curious. If a full-size adult can fit, 6-footer, can we fit? Well, legroom, I'm okay. And the seats are obviously at different positions. This is for my driving position. But what about headroom? Yeah, I can clear it. I can clear it. So yeah, I mean, I suppose if it's like middle seat in a Rolls-Royce Ghost or like side seat in a Honda Civic, I'm going to take middle seat in a Ghost. But I would prefer one of these seats because there isn't quite as much padding in this middle. But I would make it work. Now let's go to the good seat. Slide over. Oh, that's nice. This and the driver's seat are the same, which is to say, you're not losing out on anything by being in that driver's seat, really. Probably gaining some things. Not everything, though. We got door buttons here, because we wouldn't just reach out and grab that door to close it ourselves. That seems so very wrong in a Rolls-Royce. And while I'm just touching things back here, this is all covered in leather because you shouldn't really touch this, but I guess your hand might rest on it while you're touching the door button, or maybe your head will accidentally brush against it, and that needs to be in leather therefore. Also leather is the grab handle like the fronts, metal pieces on the side. They put leather for this cover for the airbag notification thing. That's in leather. Yet another option is to have this embossed with the Spirit of Ecstasy on the backs of the TV trays. They call them picnic tables, but that's where the TV monitor is in there. So I'm going to call it a TV tray. If you want just the TV, by the way, I've been talking about that cheat sheet. Well, here it is. Promise it's real. And laminated, like I said. And let's look at it. So the on-the-road price to Rolls-Royce is $332,500 for the new Ghost. As tested, $428,625. And these are all the options. I think I'm doing a good job covering most of them. Yeah. I didn't show you the key yet. I'll show that to you up there. Okay, I promise. If we want to put down this TV tray, I can either press this button for the picnic table to come down and the monitor to come out, or I can just press this one over here for only the picnic table to come down. Oh look, they took my advice. Put more of that open pore wood in more places. Yes, this was definitely my advice. They didn't just come up with themselves this. Leather piece here, I guess to cushion the TV screen when the picnic table's against it. And if we want the TV screen to come out now, and here it is, 12-inch display. It is a touch screen. Like the infotainment, I can adjust some vehicle settings like lighting. I can go into the navigation system, tell the driver where to go. Wow, that's a really zoomed out view. That's a crazy, give me 10 more minutes to zoom out into where we are. But that's one thing you can look at and adjust. Also your media information, of course. If you don't want to touch the screen, I can pull down the center console again, press this, and I've got a scroll. I've got a dial just like the front. Just like the front, I've got my little dial back here, and I can adjust the right-hand monitor, or I can press this one over here, and I can adjust the left. Oh, what? What? I just press the button and it comes out. Okay, this is a discovery for me too. That's kind of freaky. I mean, freaky cool. If I press the right, does that one go away? No, it's out, okay? So it's out, and you can adjust it on this one. I guess that's for hijinks. If you're over here and you're just like, oh no, Billy, your passenger's name is Billy now. I'm just adjusting mine, don't worry about it. But then you're actually adjusting theirs and they're freaking out. They're like, what's going on? It's possessed. Oh man, have a bigger imagination, Miles, okay? But that's how it might be used. That's a way it could be used. This is all metal. This is that obsidian open pore Ius wood. And we've got cup holders here that come out. What's going on with this arm? I'm not gonna force that, okay? But they are okay, so they adjust. They adjust, that's what happens. Ooh, you push it all the way in and then it comes out. Okay, all right, we figured it out. Oh, that's so nice. So nice. Other things in the center console, we have another cubby in here with another DC socket that's not illuminating right now. What's going on? Yeah, so you feel like the boss in the back seat for sure. And we also have seat controls down here. So I can just press this button and sit in an upright position. I can control, if I want to, that seat. So if I'm tired of it being in this position and I don't like the front passenger, then I can just have them move out of the way, so I can have more legroom. Takes a second. Ooh, okay. Now we are talking. Now I could really see why this controller is useful, because if it's all the way over there and I'm really lounging and I've got my seat all the way reclined. Oh, sorry, I'm still adjusting that seat. I've forgotten. Sorry, front passenger. Now I'm adjusting my seat again. And I'm reclining all the way. And I'm just lounging, so I can't reach up and touch that, so I have to use the dial here. Still adjusting Billy's screen. Sorry, Billy. Now I'm adjusting mine. Okay, so this makes more sense now. Because I was like, really, you're going to be lazy enough to, yeah. Lazy or just rich? Are you just rich? And your lumbar is back here. You have lumbar adjustments. I showed you the massaging, the way to turn it on and off. 3 levels of massage. What else do I need to show you? Okay, so I'm going to close this up and close that up. Give it a second. Another thing I noticed, look how big this this pocket is behind the front seat. You could really fit a lot in there, maybe even a big bottle. Well, we'll check that maybe later. Over here, we have the same open pore wood, the same. That sound is just so satisfying. Had to tilt the mic so you could hear it. And the plungers, or one other name that you're going to come up with for me, put in the comments. Heating and ventilation is here. Like the fronts, we don't have temperature numbers, we just have the look. This looks like it's going to be cooler, this looks like it's going to be hotter. And leather bordering for your intensity of the ventilation adjustment. What's it sound like on max? That's the max setting. That doesn't sound all that loud. Thank you, additional damping. Down here we have a disc insert. You want to watch a Blu-ray on your TV, you can. And perhaps my favorite option in this vehicle. Oh yeah, we've got a champagne fridge. Folks, we don't just have a champagne fridge. We have a champagne fridge with 2 levels of chilling. There's a level of chilling for normal champagne and for aged champagne. What even is the temperature level for aged champagne? I have no idea, but Rolls-Royce and its customers apparently know. So you can fit your full champagne bottle in there. We have our crystal flutes. Oh, and these are very chilly. Oh, the metal pieces are cold. And our champagne flutes are rather nice. I would probably just put them in the cup holders. I don't know if I would put them here. But there is your champagne fridge with your 2 settings, because you're too cool for just regular champagne chilling. You need 2 levels. Leather, even on this back deck. We can see more of those bespoke Rolls-Royce speaker covers. And I think that's it. That's it for the back seat of the Rolls-Royce Ghost. That's it, of course. There's like an intense amount of stuff going on back here. Got to tidy up in here. So, Billy, sorry, get out of here. Go back to your Honda Civic. We're done. Ending the entertainment for you. Don't press that one. That's just the TV monitor. This one will close up both that and the picnic tray at the same time. And now we're ready to go. Well, almost. I want to show these. These are amazing little metal vents with their own plunger. It's adorable. Anyway, so getting out of the vehicle. We're not going to do this manually. We're going to do it automatically, which is not as fast as opening a normal door, but it's way cooler. So you press this once, pull it once. Opens the door just a little bit so you can look and make sure you're not going to hit a cyclist who's going to sue you and want you to pay for all his medical bills and lavish lifestyle. And you're going to hold it again for as long as you would like. It's going to open the door as wide as you need it and make it easy to get out. So sometimes good things take time, is the moral of that story. Close it up, press and hold. And let's take a gander at the trunk, because there's perhaps my favorite detail in the trunk. Press that button, auto up, of course. And we look in the back here. Lavishly carpeted. Not as thick as that lamb's wool, but, it's pretty nice for a trunk, okay? And, well, there's that hump from the champagne fridge, which takes up some room, so it may not be the full 18 cubic feet that Rolls-Royce quotes for the Ghost, but it's still a pretty good sized trunk, nice and wide. You can fit 2 golf bags in here. This is a real aluminum tread plate cover, so you don't whack stuff with your luggage on your way out. I need to show you 2 more things. Look at how wide the door swings open effortlessly. That's the effortless doors. Now I get it. Let's close it up. And let's pull out the key. I think I left it here. Yes. Here it is. Here's that key. So we're going to have this dark chrome finish, piano black for the top and bottom. real, or not real, but yes, real chrome, so brighter chrome for the borders. And this is your unlock. This is your trunk release. And this is your lock button. And check this out. This is actually like, I have to zoom in, hang on. Zoom in. There's actually depth to the Rolls-Royce monogram because this is a Rolls-Royce. Your key has depth to the letters for the monogram. Crazy. And on the back gets better. The customization for this Rolls-Royce is that same turquoise leather backing for the key. Feels exquisite. Look at the key size too. It's a large size hand. It's taking up a lot of my hand and it's hefty. Such a nice key. Okay, so that's your Rolls-Royce key. And the last thing we need to do, what do we think it is? It's the big bottle test. Here it is. So let's see, will it fit in the Rolls-Royce Ghost? I'm gonna slide up this wood cover and find out that it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit there. Center console, you're up next. Let's avoid the few items I have in there. Is it gonna fit? Nope. That won't work. Door pocket, you're up next. Will you fit? Oh, looks like it, but one way to find out. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting, only the back doors do the automatic open thing, okay? But these are pretty effortless. We're gonna close it up. It stays, doesn't move. We've got a pass for the Rolls-Royce Ghost of your big bottle test. And with that, we're gonna rev it up. But first, if you've been watching this video this whole time and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Hit that bell to turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on any of the good stuff. And with that, we are going to rev it, which cracks me up because I'm looking at this like, oh, where's the tachometer? You don't have one, so we're still gonna rev it anyway. Of course, the Rolls-Royce Ghost doesn't have anything as pedestrian as a launch control system. Heck, we don't even have a sport mode. What we do instead have is a low mode here on the gear stock. And it is the equivalent of a sport mode because it makes your throttle response quicker and your shifts more aggressive. At least that's what they tell me because I neither feel the shifts nor can see them. We just have a power reserve meter here on the gauge. But all that to say, we are going to see how quick it gets to 60. So here we go, just matting the throttle. Oh, I feel like that's the only appropriate response to acceleration in a Rolls-Royce. It's just, oh, my. But all that to say, it was pretty quick. The 0 to 60 for the Rolls-Royce Ghost is quoted at 4.6 seconds. Okay, we can take it out of low mode. We don't need any of that anymore. 4.6 seconds, and that's because, even though this is a 5,700-pound sedan, we have a twin-turbo 6.75-liter V12 under that very long, elegant hood, and it makes 563 horsepower and 627 pound-feet of torque. It's connected to an all-wheel drive system via an 8-speed automatic gearbox. So yeah, this thing gets moving, but it's never dramatic. It's just, you're like, ooh, we're just oozing to those speeds, darling. Yeah, so the top speed is 155 miles an hour, and you could probably do it in this without too much of a hassle. And you wouldn't even feel it either, because despite the fact that it's so not aerodynamic, it's so quiet in here. I didn't mention fuel economy, but you shouldn't care if you have money for Rolls-Royce Ghosts, that would be the plural of that. It's 12 city, 18 highway, and 14 combined, which is actually not that awful for a 6.8-liter twin-turbo V12 that makes this much power. But that's the fuel economy nonetheless. And the transmission connected to that big engine, I already says is an 8-speed automatic, but it's guided by GPS. So if you are on a curvier road, the GPS will know that, hey, we might need to shift down some gears and give this guy or gal more power. And if you're on a highway, then it's gonna know it can just go to the highest gear and just cruise for you. But yeah, it's guided in part by GPS, which is pretty crazy. And this platform is a new platform, well, new for the Ghost. It's the planar platform, the same one that underpins the Phantom. And so we're getting legitimate Rolls-Royce stuff here, no longer BMW 7 Series stuff. This is true Rolls-Royce bred platform material here. And we also have a suspension system that's pretty crazy. So we've got adaptive dampers, of course, and we have a 4-corner air suspension, of course. We're talking to Rolls-Royce here. But we also have adaptive dampers for the upper wishbones in the suspension. In normal terms, suspension for your suspension. Is that not crazy? So yeah, it just soaks up anything the road delivers, and these seats help with that because they're so cushy. They're so comfortable. Just motor anywhere in. You could spend so many miles in these without any issue whatsoever. It's just the most pleasant driving posture you can imagine. It's so good. Add to that the ridiculous levels of sound deadening and a dual pane acoustic glass, and it's silent. It's just effectively silent, as close to silent as you can imagine in a vehicle. What I equate it to is like, you're in a glass box, right? You're cosseted in this glass box, but it's like everything that you're looking at outside is also in its own glass box. That leaf blower, the guy in the leaf blower, also in a glass box, or that semi-truck is also in a glass box. So you just have these double layers of isolation in your Ghost, and that's why it's so calm. It's so tranquil behind the wheel of this vehicle. That, and you also have a front-facing camera, like up here-ish, that is scanning the road ahead, looking for anything that would dare upset your driving experience, a pothole or a speed bump, and it's then telling the suspension, hey, we got business coming up, you better cozy up, comfort up, ease up, so that that driver or passenger doesn't feel any of it. So that's kind of the Rolls-Royce driving experience. It is adequate power, as they used to say before they actually gave you a quote on how much power it makes. It's adequate power in any situation, and it is complete bliss from within this cabin as a driving experience. I can't equate it to anything else. I've been in the vehicles that I'm about to mention as its direct competitors, and nothing rides this pillowy. So Rolls-Royce calls this driving experience, the riding experience, magic carpet ride. And surprise you it may, I've never been on a magic carpet, but I have been on an inner tube on a lazy river. And that's kind of the experience you have here, because whenever there are ripples in the water, the inner tube just sort of glides over them. That's what the Rolls-Royce Ghost does. It just glides over anything that you encounter. And that's gotta be the equivalent of money in vehicular form, right? Just glide over anything that comes up. You pay money and the problem goes away. You get a Rolls-Royce and the defect in the road just goes away. It's wonderful. It is truly, truly wonderful. So, okay, I alluded to the competitors and we're gonna go through them. The Bentley Flying Spur, that is one of the rivals you would face in your Rolls-Royce Ghost. That's going to, so I didn't mention the starting figure for the Rolls-Royce Ghost, $325,500. This one is tested $428,000 and some change. And some change. What's change, right? So that's your starting figure for the Ghost, and that's where we're dealing with here with this one. The Bentley Flying Spur is going to compete at a starting figure of $219,000, a relative bargain compared to this, and that's the W12 version. There's a cheaper V8 version. We're talking about the W12. So that one's going to make 626 horsepower, and it's going to get to 60 miles per hour in 3.8 seconds. So like a fair bit more power than the Ghost, and significantly quicker in the 0 to 60 run. The top speed is also mountainously huge. It's the fastest production sedan at 207 miles per hour. Nuts. It's effectively like a supercar in extravagant clothing. It's so ridiculous, that vehicle. But the ride quality is great in that thing. Better than any vehicle in the kind of like standard upper luxury segment, BMWs, your standard Mercedes-Benzes, your Audis or whatever, it's better than any of those. And the isolation in the cabin, insulation in the cabin, isolation in the cabin, they're both just better than any of those. But it's just not as good as this. However, that performance, if you're looking for extra poshness beyond your 7 Series and stuff like that, with ridiculous power, that's the Flying Spur. Then we also have the Mercedes-Maybach S650, the V12 powered version of the Maybach S-Class. And that one's gonna make 621 horsepower. It's gonna start at $202,500. So the bargain of the bunch here at just over 200K. And it's gonna get to 60 in the same as this, 4.6 seconds. And the top speed is also tied at 155 miles per hour. And the Mercedes-Maybach S-Class is like the glitzy cousin in this group. It's very much about, let's just show the wealth, right? And that's not what the post-opulent Rolls-Royce Ghost is about. And it's not even what the Flying Spur is about. The Flying Spur also is kind of like this, a little more subdued, though that grille doesn't say subdued at all, luxury. And so the S-Class, if you make it big and you want to show it, that's you. And there's certainly power there, and there's certainly premium materials and nice quality. I look forward to driving the new one at some point. But it's not the Ghost. It's not the Ghost experience. Those vehicles are sort of, the way I think about it is like, there's a room, right? There's a special room, and the Flying Spur is in it, and the Mercedes-Maybach S-Class is in it, and then there's a door in that room that you go through and you close behind you, and only the Ghost is in there. If we're talking about this segment of vehicle, only the Ghost is in there. It's just this beyond. There's upper, there's super upper, and then there's beyond that. And that is the Rolls-Royce experience. The ride quality is unlike anything else. The power delivery is ultra smooth. I don't know how else to put this in terms that make any sense. It's supreme. The Rolls-Royce Ghost is supreme. In this segment, there is, of course, the Phantom above that and the Cullinan in the SUV segment. But in this segment, the Rolls-Royce Ghost is it. And I now have a new goal for if I ever strike it obscenely rich, because that's what this money is. If you can afford a Flying Spur and if you can afford a Mercedes-Maybach S-Class, it probably isn't that much harder for you to spring for a Ghost. And so, unless you're looking for that crazy performance or that showy opulence, why wouldn't you go for the Ghost? That's gonna be my new goal. If I strike it obscenely rich, it's to ride around in a Ghost, to drive around in a Ghost. Heck, be a passenger in the back, that would be fine, but driving this vehicle is also not bad. I'm sorry I didn't mention all the handling or whatever, but that's, who cares? It's stable enough, the braking is good enough, the power is adequate enough, and just the experience here is unparalleled. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you again next time.